Alright everybody, hello. If you need a easygoing animal for your homestead, I recommend a pig. Alright everybody, we're reals though. So we're in our barn right now, and as you can tell, our animals are being really loud because I'm in here. They think that food's coming. Thought about making a video about our pigs and why we have Kune Kunes or Kune Kune. I don't know how you're supposed to say it. Anyways. So this girl right here, this is our sow, and her name is Matilda. Okay, and then this guy next to her here is Swine Lord. Yeah, we like our pun names. We have had Matilda now for 2 years, I want to say. She's like 2.5 years old. And in one of my previous videos, I mentioned that she had a hard life. My last video was she had a hard life, and then chicken one nuts. And then one of my older videos, I actually talked about how I was going to tell you guys about it at one point. So Matilda, at one point in time, we had her out in that pen outside, and they had gotten out of the pen, and a dog had gotten out and roughed up her and her brother pretty well, or pretty good. And so it actually got to the point where her brother, our boar at the time, he was neutered or castrated and everything, so not to worry about babies. But he ended up getting hurt so bad that we had to put him down. And we ended up having to butcher them way early, but a testament to how tough these animals are is our girl Matilda here ran off and lived in the woods for almost a month by herself. Yeah, that's right. She lived in the woods for a month by herself. It was during the breakup season out here, or springtime more or less. And we were having really bad rainstorms every other day, or every day. And we ended up, she ran off in the woods to get away from that crazy dog. And we couldn't find her. We looked at her for hours, and we just figured that she had ran off in the woods and died somewhere. And we felt really upset about it. And then about a month later, one of our neighbors had found her in their backyard. And she was all healing up and everything. And so they are incredibly tough animals. Now, Matilda here, obviously she's gotten a lot better. She's had a much better life. She now has a pen to keep her safe. And she's well fed and happy. But we love our Kunes because they're very sweet. Obviously, you don't want to put your fingers near their mouth and stuff like that, like a normal animal does. But they have a very good demeanor. You're not gonna feel like you're gonna fall down in a pen and they're gonna eat you, right? Like some bigger pig breeds, you don't want to get in their pen. My neighbor down the way had those larger pig breeds. Excuse me, had those larger pig breeds, and I remember the first time I was over there, one of the first time I was over there helping them, I was helping them put lights in their barn for their pigs. And we're stringing the wire, or running the wires for their lights. And I remember him telling me, I'm going to turn around and I need you to make sure that they don't sneak up on me because they get nippy. And he turned around, and I kid you not, as soon as he did, one of them pigs came right up behind him and started trying to nip at his leg. And those things are big enough, they could take a chunk out of you in a second. So anyways, that's why one of the reasons why we love Kunes is that they have a very sweet demeanor, and they kind of let you love on them and pet them. And the other thing we love about them is how tough they are. So with them, like I said, one of the main reasons we like them is how tough they are, how resilient they are. And then for us, a big thing is how low maintenance they are. So now we're back on the outside of the barn. But for us, those pigs are amazing. Ooh, sorry there. Because how the level of maintenance that they require is below minimal. Like they just need some food and water, and that's about it. Now there is an index of I guess it's like a difficulty index of how or basically how difficult it is to raise an animal. Now those yelling creatures in the background, goats, are much higher than a pig. I believe they're up there with like right below cows, which I thought was very amazing to me. Growing up, I knew tons of people like goats that were running around eating like tin cans or something. And apparently that's not the case. And that goats take a lot of nutrients. They take added. You have to watch their diet. You have to watch all kinds of stuff with them. Whereas with pigs, and especially Kune Kunes, that's not the case. Here's a biscuit. Anyways, so bringing up to the point of Kune Kunes, we love them so much that we got a second boar. Now the reason why is this is what I'm going to get into. So this guy is named Boris. Okay, Boris here is a 3-year-old Kune Kune boar. Okay, you can kind of see he's got one tusk over here on this side, and then he had a tusk over on this side, but it's gotten broken off. And we bought Boris from another lady, who was the same lady we got a bunch of our chickens from. She was getting rid of a lot of her animals. They're moving, and Boris here has already sired, I think, like 3 litters of piglets. And so we're gonna try to get him in with our female Matilda. Yeah. And make a bunch more piglets. Anyways, our puppies love to come in and get his food scraps. Because we feed them tons of food scraps. You can see there's some leftover strawberry over there on that log. Pigs love that stuff. All right, so we've talked about the different pigs that we have. We have Matilda. We have Swine Lord, who was our first main outside boar that we're going to use for breeding. And then we have Boris, the big guy right there. Yeah, he knows what I'm talking about. Boris is a big guy. He's a big boy for a Kune. Now, oh jeez, they all think food's still here. Now, the issues that we've had so far with our Kunes is that they, like with any pig, you got to train them up a little bit. They always want to run forward instead of backing up. I've heard some different methods about training them how to back up so they don't rut against fences and stuff. But we've yet to get any of them to accomplish them. Now, we haven't really tried either. But one of the main issues that we've had is I attacked my puppies. So I guess the main point now is to talk about the difficulties that we've had with our piggies. Okay, so one of the main difficulties that we've had, like I said, they're not very many. But obviously, well, the first one was when the Matilda ran off. And we thought we were just out a bunch of money. Because at that point, they were over $400 a piece. And she was running off. So that plus all the food that we'd been raising them for almost a year at that point. But mainly with her, that's about it. The other difficulties that we've had with them actually is, for one, Swine Lord there. He's a bit younger than Matilda. He's only, I think he's probably like 6 to 8 months old. And so we were trying to get them to mate and have piglets. Now, at the current standing, our female pig, Matilda, has not gotten pregnant. Okay, so with Matilda not having had a litter of piglets already, it raises the question of how long we're going to keep her if she's not going to be providing us with piglets. Now, we ended up getting Boris, who is I guess that's a thing. Basically, you can buy, when you look into buying an animal, is you look to see if they've already sired other litters of that respective baby. And Boris is, like I said earlier, I think he's sired like 4 different litters of piglets. Now, and he's actually mated with larger breeds of pigs as well. So we're hoping that he's not going to have any difficulties mating with our Matilda. Now, hopefully we're going to be getting them together here in early spring. So then by the end of fall, we should be having a litter of piglets. Now, we'll see. If that doesn't happen, by the end of next fall, we're probably going to have to end up eating Matilda. It might seem harsh, but there's a point to it. So earlier on in the video, I was telling you about how my neighbor had some larger pig breeds. He had a female, a sow, that several times had gotten pregnant, and nothing ever happened. Okay. Now there's I mean, pigs are just like humans. They can have miscarriages. They can have other health issues. They can have other things pop up. But we're gonna hang out by our friend Boris here for a minute. So our one of the issues that can happen, like my neighbor, his pig actually ended up having a baby that I'm not quite sure how it happened, but somehow it like died inside of the pig still, and ended up becoming like mummified. And when, as gross as that sounds, what ends up happening is their body kind of just doesn't pass that, and it prevents them from ever becoming pregnant. And there isn't a good way of removing said piglet. And so they end up being that they can never get pregnant. Now, with that being the case, we end up having the question of how long are we going to wait to see, or is it just time to eat her? Now, that might sound rough to some of you guys, but you gotta remember that we are on a homestead. Everything here has a function and a purpose. Our pigs are meant to be raised for meat. Now, they have a wonderful life, much better than you're ever gonna find any pork you're ever gonna find in a superstore or superstore. Much better life here, right? They're happy, they're healthy, they're safe, and they're loved. But their purpose is to give us meat. Now, and like our big dog here, there's a Mamushka. Her purpose is to help protect some of these animals. Now, with that being said, if by the end of next fall, Matilda there isn't pregnant with a litter of piglets, then we will be considering eating her. Now, the reason for that is that because at that point she will have had ample opportunities to produce piglets, and if she still hasn't, then something is wrong with her. Or that might sound wrong, but it's something, she might have some medical issue preventing her from having said piglets. And it's not something that's inside of our scope to even diagnose or even find out. And so at that point, we might consider bringing in another sow. And I would even like to bring in a potbelly sow, because I have heard of really good things between a potbelly Kune mix. They're supposed to be a bit bigger, same demeanor as a Kune, but a bit more meat, a bit more bang for your buck, so to speak. Now, aside from that, the only other issues we've had is with our buddy Swine Lord. Alright, so we're back in the noisy barn again. But this guy here, Swine Lord.
Hey, buddy. Hi.
So Swine Lord here had an issue that until it happened, I never even knew was a thing. But as soon as it started getting cold, okay, and apparently that is the trigger. But Swine Lord here, as any other mini pig breed or smaller pig breed, can have seizures. Okay, and so when he has seizures, it's brought on. It's something you have no idea how or why. But basically, it can be anything from when he was a piglet, he got kicked in the head by his mom, or it was a little bit too long for him to be born. A little bit too, somehow, somewhere, the chemistry in his brain was a little bit off. And so during the time when it started getting a little bit cold, he was going into full body seizures. Now, we did everything we could to prevent that. Basically, all we found, what we were told was the only thing you can do to prevent that is put him in a nice enclosed area by himself and try to keep him calm. And if it doesn't pass within 3 to 4 days, it's not going to pass. And if he's still alive at that point, it's more humane to try to look at putting him down. Now, obviously, we had not had to put our Swine Lord here, friend, down. And he got out of it. But it did take him a good, I think it was about 3, almost 4 days of him going into full body convulsions and seizures, and to the point where he lost complete control over his own body and was even having a hard time drinking and eating and everything else. So obviously we were very concerned about him, but he's pulled through it. And apparently once it happens, it probably won't happen again. From what I've seen and heard and read, it probably won't happen again, but it might. So if Swine Lord doesn't work out, then Boris will end up being our main boar, and hopefully mate with our female Matilda. All right, everybody. So that's it for this video. If you guys have any other questions about pigs or why we love Kune Kune so much, please shoot a comment down below. Ask us what I missed. We love Kunes. We think they're awesome. Hopefully here in the future we'll be doing more videos about some other animals that we have, like what type of chickens we have, what type of goats, stuff like that. Things that you might not think about right off the bat, or maybe you do, but things that are actually important. I think it's important to look into what type of breeds of animals you're getting into when you are looking at this homesteading lifestyle, and maybe you need a reason why. Why pick a Kune Kune over a Potbelly or a Yorkshire or Tamsworth? And so there's pros and cons to everyone, but hopefully this video guys helped you out, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.